Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you can click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. I have no idea what that cricket sound is. It may be something to do with an air compressor or something. But, good morning, party people. We are going to get back on the restoration project of this yellow T-5R sedan. Kicking it off with trying to finish up with this dash. Worked on this dash for, man, almost 4 hours yesterday. And didn't put this together right, so I gotta take this thing off the back, put that together right, and start gluing together some of these mount areas where this thing doesn't mount right because the plastic's broke. And I gotta go get a mount for this piece that's missing over there on that driver's side. So let me go tear that dash out of that donor car, get that mount, try to get that in, and put some traction on this job. I didn't notice this at first, but half of the dash is missing. The material's missing from here all the way out. A little bit of it hanging there. I didn't even notice it. I'm thinking, man, I'm ready to pull this dash. Somebody already pulled part of it. This is a early 94. It even has aluminum control arms. I got the dash pulled. This mount over here was totally broke out of the dash, so that may be good. That one was intact. The other two are broken loose. So I think I got what I need. I'm going to go up here and close this hood back. I had we'll call it incident opening the hood. I didn't know it was strapped down with this rubber strap. And man, I started pulling and jerking and pulling and jerking. Finally jerked that thing loose. And that thing busted the tip of my finger when it broke loose. I don't even know where the other end of it is. But I'm going to lay it down and hopefully it'll stay closed. I guess they had that keeping it closed so the wind wouldn't blow it open. Pulled this ductwork back out. Got that front piece put back in. Now I'm trying to get this in. And this lined up with that another bracket. And I don't even see it in there. Let me put the light on. Got that stuff back together. Man, I tell you, it was a mess because the metal clip for that lower screw had fallen out. One of those things had fallen out, so I couldn't put that screw in, and then I found it and worked it around in there. Anyway, I got it in. Got this box in, everything's secure. Now I need to put that piece in there. However, I don't see it. I'm pretty sure I put it in this box and brought it up here, but now I don't see it in the box. So let me try to figure out where I put that and cut this open so I can glue that there. What a mess. I cut this out where I thought this one would fit. So let me break this out of here and see if it fits there. That's pretty close. Pretty close. So let me mix some epoxy and glue this thing here and see how that works out for me. I think I have this dash done and ready to be installed. It's just got a couple things curing. Got the new mounting strap over there. All these straps are already here. Has some felt paper on these here. So, trying to keep it quiet. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clean up my flywheel I brought. After that, I'm going to work on this transmission, putting that quaif in it. The flywheel, cleaned up the other side already. Ugh. Just knocking the dirt off of this side. We'll be ready to install it. Here it is. Nice chunk of steel. Single mass flywheel. Both sides cleaned off. You can see where that old clutch was tracking. Just barely feel a line. I guess it's probably a different smoothness of the metal, because your nail doesn't jump when you cross the edge of it. It's just the metal feels different. So we are good to go. Going to get this installed and get the clutch installed. Now the bolts you put in here, they have to be torqued, and they also have to have thread sealer on them so oil doesn't leak out of them. Here's all the hardware from the manual donor car. You got all your exterior hardware in that bag and all your interior hardware in this bag. It's a good way to divide it. Let me look in there and find these flywheel bolts. I'm going to clean the threads on these bolts real quick because I don't want any of this old sealant jamming up my threads and stuff. All their bolts are clean. Time to get the thread sealer and get this flywheel installed. Here's the pilot bearing. Your torque converter, I believe, rides in there. And with a manual transmission, nothing reaches that. The part that comes out of the transmission only reaches your clutch and flywheel. And people talk about replacing this, and David got one, so I'm gonna see if I could get this out of here. But I don't really think there's a purpose of changing this when you're converting to a manual transmission. But let's see if we can get this out of here and replaced. I tried to get this out with needle nose pliers and I couldn't grab it tight enough, so I used these side cutter wire snippers and I was able to grab it and pull it out. So let's see if we can get this bearing to come out. Oh, I think I felt it move a little bit. There it is. Pilot bearing. Let's put the new one in. It seems like it's only going to take a couple minutes. See if this thing is... I don't know what turns on it. This side is solid. That side... I don't know what kind of bearing it is. I don't see where this turns in here. Well, the part says it's a bearing bushing. So, whatever that means, maybe the bearing is in there somewhere. I don't see anything that moves. I'm gonna slide this one in and put the clip ring in. I gently tapped it in with this 18mm socket, short extension, and this Pittsburgh dead blow hammer. And it looked like it went in far enough for me to put that clip ring in, so I'm gonna put the clip ring in. I pretty much pushed this clip ring in with my finger to get it started in the hole. Then I tapped it in until it fell in the groove. So there it is, pilot bearing replaced. It took about 5-10 minutes. Go ahead and get this flywheel installed. torqued them all to 30 foot-pounds, and then I went 60 degrees. How I did the 60 degrees was each point is 60 degrees. So I put a little mark on the tip of the bolt, and then I went to the next tip and put a mark on the flywheel. And I hit it with the impact gun. Easiest way. Other than that, you got to have somebody holding the crank and all that stuff. This one went just a little bit past, but not enough for me to worry about. Got the flywheel installed. I'm going to take a lunch break, come back, and do the clutch and pressure plate. We are close to Sandcut, Indiana, and we're at Green Acres Dairy Barn, home of the famous ice cream and some good burgers. So we're going to go in and see how we get treated, or just order at the window. And here's the bison burger. Buffalo burger, loaded, and the chocolate shake. The shake is just right, not too sweet. Back from lunch, about to install a clutch and pressure plate. The shadow from this last clutch is 8 7/8. The diameter of this one is almost 9.5. So this R clutch is a lot bigger. Or at least the material rides out further, give you a different leverage. I got so much meat on this list. I'm gonna go ahead and do the CV axles, and then I'm gonna do the manual transmission LSD quaif install. That might knock me out for the rest of the day. So let me go grab some gloves, cover up this cut because I don't see my band-aids, and get those boots put on those CV axles. I looked at the boots on the short axle. They're starting to crack, have cracking in them. On the long axle, they look really good. So I'm gonna start on this one. I sent a message to the owner, see if he wants me to change those too, but I'm gonna go ahead and find the new parts for this one and get these replaced. Finally got this courier off the end of this axle. This is the short side, driver's side. I held the pin open, and I tried to do it with a dead blow hammer or small hammer. Had to hit it with this 3-pound sledge to get it started off. So I took all the bearings out, the cartridge out, that piece out, and I'm washing them in oil eater, like 75% oil eater, 25% water. And I'm getting them cleaned up, getting all the old grease out because I got new grease. Nothing better than new grease when you got bearings out. So let me finish cleaning this up. Then I'm gonna take this inner one apart, get all the old grease out of that, and put the new boots on it. Moving right along, we have the boot off of this inside, and if you look down in there, it has those rollers there, and this edge and this edge was beat in to stop this from coming out. I don't know if that's able to come out while it's all together, but I'm gonna go ahead and bend them out a little bit more. I bent them out some and see if I can get this to slide out. Bent it out with those pliers so that I could finish getting the grease out of that, clean that up, and put it back together. Then hit it with a hammer to lock them back in so it don't slide out. But I got all that stuff cleaned up there, and it looks like we got our box for our S60 heater hoses. I spread this open enough to tap it off. Put a dead blow on it, tapped it off, it came right out. These lift right off of that, so you can soak them, clean them up, put them back on there, put that back in there after I get it all cleaned up, and dry it off. So let me keep working on this axle. Got this part all cleaned up. It looks like you could take that clip ring out of there and pull this piece off of this shaft, which is not necessary. These bearings are probably race bearings, which means there's a bunch of little bearings going around in the circumference of this. Looks like you can spread that clip, take this apart. I am not going to do that, and I'm not going to soak these in any solution. I'm just going to leave them like they are. I'm not repacking these. These are not really a point of failure with these CV axles. But let me go ahead and get the lubrication package, put the grease in there, lubricate this stuff, put this stuff back together, and put the boot on it. I don't think I showed you, but these things just fall on this like this. They only go on one way. And then you put it back down in there and bend that in so it can't come apart. Don't really think it's necessary to stop that from coming apart, but I'll do it anyway. I have 2 tubes of the grease packed in there. You want to push that stuff in there as far as you can. Now the theory or the process with the boot is, while you're driving, this thing heats up and it kind of melts the grease, makes it runny, and that grease just sloshes around in there on those bearings, keeps all this stuff lubricated. So you do want to trap all that in there with the boot, and the boot will keep the grease slinging around in there and lubricating everything. I tapped all 3 sides in a little bit so these can't come out in case somebody are taking the axle out or something and they pull on it. And I'm gonna go ahead and slide this boot down on there, lock it in place, clip it in, and get the outer one put on. After I get the boot slid on, then I'm gonna put this stuff on the end, the CV. The clamp they supplied isn't even nowhere near fastening, so I'm gonna have to find a large zip tie or something to clamp this on. I have this clamp closed all the way, and it still does not have a good seal on the shaft. I think, man, this clamp is not any good either. I'm gonna see if I can put the other small one on there and press on. Hopefully these outer clamps will work better. Don't remember if I showed you inside these parts that they were all nice and smooth. Nothing was damaged. So let me go ahead and put this stuff back together. Got that one done, one to go. The owner said he did want to do the other one as well. Man, that was harder than I remembered. And I think this took 3 hours, so it's $150 labor rebooting one of these. Let me start on the other one, see if I could get done with it before I leave for lunch. Let me start on the next one, see if I get done before I leave for today. Letting me know that the axles that was in the car are being replaced with axles that were shipped to him. He's got manual axles. So I just rebooted an axle that I don't think he wants to use. I think I could get the boots off of them, but not the grease. That's going to be a problem. So let me go ahead and reboot this axle because it is showing signs of cracking on that outer boot. The inner boot's not so much, but let me go ahead and replace these boots on this manual axle. I am pleasantly surprised that this Volvo manual axle came apart like no other. With just a little bit of tension pulling it out, as soon as I spread that clip, that thing slid right out. Same thing for the inside. Spread that clip and the thing fell to the ground. So this Volvo manual axle probably take an hour to boot versus these other axles that are probably not Volvo. Got the manual axle apart and I got this outer CV apart and it's got damage in it. If you see that, that's got some scoring. That's got some scoring. That one has some scoring. That one, fourth one, got some scoring. Fifth one, scoring. Sixth one, scoring. I don't know if that will wear bearings, but it probably could make it a little noisy, and it's just wear. Personally, I wouldn't use it, but I'm going to contact the owner of the vehicle, see if he wants to use it. All that stuff should be smooth in there. All the bearings look really good. Only one of them had very minor pitting on them. This carriage here looks really good. I don't see any damage or signs of any awkward wear in it. It's got a couple dimples right there. That seems to be on each side. I don't know if that's there on purpose, but it looks fine. It doesn't have any kind of like corrosion type thing. This looks pretty good. It has a little bit of wear, like right there on a couple of spots, but if I had to make a decision, I would reuse that. So this is the only thing that's kind of messed up where I wouldn't reuse it. I cannot figure out how to get this out of here, so I'm just going to wipe all the grease that I can out of there and put this back together if he wants to use this axle. Remember that outer piece is busted. So unfortunately, that's all we got for today. I gotta get back here in the morning, tear the transmission apart, put the LSD quaif in it, figure out what we're gonna do with these axles, and start putting this car back together. Whoop whoop. Thanks for watching. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.